Welcome to another episode of Sip and Cook with me. It's your boy Chef Dunn of Divine Visions Catering. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Wednesday, nice, beautiful Wednesday. So today we have a special guest in house.
Hello, yes. Hi, I'm Joycelyn Wells, and I am happy to be here amongst friends and all this great energy and this yummy food.
Yes, ma'am. So she's going to be talking a little bit more about what she does in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the show exactly how we always do, with a nice, refreshing cocktail. So, grab something to drink, grab something to munch on, and come sip and cook with me. All right. So today's episode, going with the theme that we've had for the last few weeks, we're entering in the spring. Weather's starting to get a little nicer. So we want to keep that rolling. We want to have food and drink that reminds us of springtime, reminds us of sitting out on the patio deck somewhere, just relaxing. So what I'm making today is a limoncello mojito. So mojitos to me scream spring, summer. Like it screams beach and, nice glass of something delicious and frosty. So that's what we're making today. So the difference between a regular mojito and a limoncello mojito is a couple different things. One, it's made with limoncello liqueur, which is a French liqueur, very, very strong lemon taste, very delicious. And instead of lime juice, it's actually made with lemons. So you're getting double up on the lemon, really good flavor, really refreshing. So let's go. So we're going to start off with our shaper. To that, we are going to add about the lemons from a lemon and a half. To that, we're going to add a little bit of simple syrup. You can't add just regular sugar and muddle it down. I like to add a little simple syrup. It just helps mix it in a little better. To that, we are going to add our mint leaves.
Y'all take notes.
Yes. So we're going to add about 8 to 10 mint leaves, because since we're making about 3 cocktails here. Next, we're going to add our limoncello. And you're going to want about an ounce per cocktail. Boom.
That extra was for me.
Yep. And next we muddle.
Darnetta says hi, y'all.
Hey. Miss you on our sipping cooks, Darnetta.
I know. She just win all the prizes and don't come by no
Right.
more.
So yeah, you just want to really get this nice and muddled up. All of those juices release. The oils from the lemon rind. All of the oils from the mint.
That sounds sexy.
Oh yeah.
I'm like listening like.
It's a sexy cocktail. Cool. Now that we got that all mixed up in there nice. Next we add the good stuff. So I'm going with a white rum. And I do about an ounce and a half per pour. Next, I'm going to go over here, add a few ice cubes into this to cool it all down.
Welcome, it's me, myself, and I on Instagram. Hello to all, and call me Chef. We appreciate y'all tuning in.
Thank you, everybody tuning in.
Yes.
So, add that there, give it a... Would you like to do the honors?
Hello,
Go ahead
Sateria.
and shake it.
Hello, niece Ariel.
Shake it.
Don't make me blush. Shake it.
Give it just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
My niece Ariel said, hey, Chef and Auntie Wonder, she calls me.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and ice these glasses down, and we are going to pour out.
Darnetta said she'll have to make it out next time. She said she still needs to get her shirt from her last win.
Yes, we do. We'll have it here ready for you.
We're keeping all her prizes that she wins in one box.
Right.
All right. Now that we got a nice cups iced on down.
Okay. Yum.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love that color. This just reminds me of spring.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm so ready too. I was over that winter. Like,
Oh yeah. It was, and this one we get to be outside a little bit. It's been almost 2 years since we really got a chance to enjoy spring.
Hey, Melinda. Thank you for tuning in, babe.
Beautiful, beautiful. All of that good stuff up out of there.
I planted an herb garden.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think I started too early because I was excited, and then we had a freeze, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But
Hey.
I was excited, like, yes, it's spring. And then it was like, not so fast.
Yeah, that's Atlanta for you. The weather changes almost midday.
Oh my God.
My grandma used to say, wait until after Easter. There's always going to be an after Easter snap.
That's exactly what Faceless Love said. He's like, don't do it yet. I was like, but it's so pretty outside. He was like,
All righty.
You ready?
So we topped it off with a little limoncello soda, just add a little fizz and a little bit more flavor. Here we go. At this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Wanda Miller, helps make the show possible.
I need me a water.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mama. Cheers. Thank you. Oh, this is so good.
Well, this is
Ooh, that's
This is
nice.
springtime. Let's go
This is
outside. We'll be back. We're going to go outside and play.
Oh, man.
Well, Darnetta just asked, could you use rum instead of vodka? But didn't we use rum? Didn't we
Excuse
use
me, if I
rum?
said vodka, I meant rum. That's what we use, a nice
Yeah, the party.
white rum, Bacardi white rum. So yes, to answer your question, absolutely.
Yes. And thank you.
Oh, this is so good.
So at this time, would you like to take over and kind of let them know exactly what you got going on?
Oh
and
my
what it is you
God.
do?
Yes. So, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here tonight. As I said, my name is Joycelyn Wells, and it's amazing because I've found myself in this space of just goodness. So I don't necessarily have a thing that I do. At this point in my life, I'm just discovering so many things about myself. So my passion is writing. I'm a writer. I've authored 5 books. Well, that's not true. I've authored 7. 2 are on my computer. I haven't decided when to publish them.
I cannot wait.
So I've authored several books. And in the process, because I'm so open to my purpose, I've just been given an opportunity to have people to come to me, and I started a publishing house. So I have about 15, 16 authors in my publishing house. So I'm doing that as well. And we have a foundation. And I think that's what we talked about in the promo. It's called Growing Men. One of the things that I found out about myself is that I love men, and I thought that I loved them and I wanted them all to myself. But what I realized is that I love them so much that I want to help them to discover that greatness from an early age. So the foundation is called Growing Men, and we really just look at our young men and provide them and their families emotional health, mental health support, resources, money, whatever they need, dentists, just to put them in that platform of knowing how amazing they are, and not to have that question as they get older.
That's
So
beautiful,
that's where my
beautiful
passion is. So
And
I'm
that
helping
is,
people.
that is a really awesome thing, and especially in our society, especially when it comes to Black men, minorities. We don't get a lot of love from society. So to have someone that's out there, really out there, just looking out for our mental health, our well-being, like that is something that is truly essential, especially within our community. So that's really a beautiful thing that you do, and I definitely appreciate it. I'm sure all the men out there and any man, young man that has been able to benefit from it appreciates that even more.
Yes, we are excited about it because it's so important. I just stand in awe of men, and I am uncomfortable being in the presence of a man who doesn't realize his greatness. So it doesn't matter who he is. If you don't know you're great, I can't respond to you as my great if you're not. If you don't know, so just how do you develop that? And that's what we're doing. We're figuring it out as we go. So,
and
thank
you
you.
definitely have to check out her book. I actually read it. Do not read it in public because it is very.
It'll get you heated.
Yeah. It'll get you hot and bothered.
It'll get you to the finish line.
When I read it was called Virtues of
The
Joy.
Virtues of Joy. That's the
Virtues
first
of
one.
Joy. Beautiful. You can find it on Amazon. That's where I ordered it from.
Is it on Audible?
It is on Audible.
And it's on Audible.
Virtues of Joy.
And
Find
I
it, y'all.
bought a couple to do for prizes later.
Very cool. Wonderful, wonderful book. You'll really enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. It's a really dope read. So definitely check it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm getting away from the kitchen.
All right. No,
I'm gonna stay.
You got to stay.
Sweet.
Lord, I gotta be awkward in the kitchen.
We here now.
So, once again, going with the theme of spring, one of the things that I really, really like is pesto. Pesto to me just has so much flavors. It's so diverse. It can be made in so many different ways, and it gives a flavor without overpowering and being too heavy. So what we are making today is we are doing a pesto orzo shrimp pasta. Now, to me, orzo is a very good pasta for this type of dish. It's very light. It looks almost similar to a grain. A lot of people confuse it with rice, but it's actually an Italian pasta. Just very, very small. You'll see in a moment. But mixed together with the pesto and the vegetables and the shrimp just adds a flavor that is unmatched to me. And it's very light, something that can either be eaten hot as an entree, or you can eat it room temperature, even cold as a side salad or a salad. So just a wonderful thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to make a pesto. Super simple. So I'm going to move my Ninja blender into the camera view.
Nice blender. Hey, Anjali.
So a pesto is basically, well, the word pesto comes from the word pastor, which means to crush. It's normally made in a pastel bowl and just kind of muddle everything together. This is a lot simpler. Most people don't have the muddling bowls, and the time it takes to do that is just, this is a lot simpler process. So you can do it in a blender, you can do it in a food processor, or you can do it in one of these nifty little bullet things. We're going to use the nifty little bullet thing.
I have a nifty bullet, but it's not like that. Trust me. This must be for the professionals.
You're not getting no pesto out of your bullet.
You might.
Hey, Glenn Scott, thank you for watching. Portia Simmons, thank you for watching these two.
Oh my God. I'm gonna stop.
So
Put my serious face.
we're going to start off with about 9 cloves of garlic. I really like garlic, so we're going to start off with about 9 cloves of garlic. To this, we are going to add, now, most of the time when you get pesto, it's made with pine nuts. I'm actually using roasted sunflower seed nuts. I think it adds a nice lighter flavor, and it's a little cheaper than pine nuts. Pine nuts just happen to be pretty expensive, so you can use them, but I actually like the flavor with the sunflower seeds, as well as the amount that you get to save on that. And they're a lot easier to find than pine nuts. So sunflower seeds, roughly about a half a cup. Next, once again, pesto is normally made with basil. I like the flavor of basil, but it can be kind of strong. So what I'm using is a combination of kale and basil.
Interesting.
So we're just gonna go ahead.
I'm straight making this out.
What's up, Jay Coop? It's been a while, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and just get all of that good stuff right on in there. Next, we are going to add some freshly shredded Parmesan cheese. This is going to add that creaminess, that nice salty and just delicious flavor. So we're adding about a half a cup of that.
Every time my mind goes to the gutter, I'm just gonna take a sip.
Every time you say something that I know your mind's going to the gutter on, I have a moment too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a sip.
Then we're gonna do a little salt and black pepper. Lastly, olive oil. Now, normally, if you're doing it in the food processor, you really want to drizzle this in so that you can control the consistency. With this, we're just gonna kind of pour it in, and we're gonna do roughly.
See, Darnetta's in the same spot talking about we like it when it's creamy. I can't with y'all today.
See? Y'all gonna get me censored.
This is your passion. You love cooking. We can't help. This is where mine goes.
I'm with it. My mind is right there with you. Like who know me, know that.
Oh my God.
So then we're just gonna go ahead, get that on there like so. Put that in there, lock it in. Go ahead, give it a little shake so that everything gets.
So how long would it take if you were going to do this by hand? What would be the time difference? I mean,
So
the technology piece.
yeah, so the time difference is literally, it depends on the amount that you're making. For the amount that we're making, it will take you a while, and it would be a lot of muddling and crushing and rolling around. This just makes it so much faster. And the flavor in this is 1,000 times better than the store-bought stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is the consistency you want. You want it nice and thick, but still a sauce consistency. What we call it in the color is called nappe. It means it will coat the back of a spoon.
So Ariel said this may be a come on man kind of question, but is pesto similar to Alfredo sauce in a sense?
Not particularly, no. Alfredo is made with cream. As you see, we haven't added any cream to this. Alfredo is, you can make a pesto Alfredo sauce, but Alfredo is a completely different sauce. This is more herbs and the pine nuts that's giving it this consistency, not cream.
So turn that into Alfredo and need some cream?
You would need cream, and you would need more Parmesan, as well as a few other ingredients, nutmeg, usually a little bit of shallots, things of that nature. So it's a few other ingredients, but normally you make an Alfredo and then you add the pesto sauce to the Alfredo to make it a pesto Alfredo. Just a second longer.
Hey, Brittany, what's up, bestie?
A beautiful, as you can see, nice, beautifully green pesto sauce. Let's go ahead and.
You were talking about that orzo earlier, and I know that orzo looks like a rice, but I did not know it was a pasta. So, which explains it's like flat. I mean, it looks like a rice, but it's flat. So it has a, now that you say that, it has a different consistency.
Yes,
but I didn't know that.
And there's a lot of people that didn't know that per se, which is why I do this show.
Yeah, well, awesome.
Hello, my Mimi. Thank you for tuning in, babe.
All right. So next, we're going to take our shrimp. You can use any size shrimp you want, tail on, tail off. I'm using a 21-25 shrimp tail off. To me, whenever you're eating pasta or eating something with shrimp, you have to stop and get the tail off. To me, it's just too much. There's certain times I like to keep the shell on, but I don't want to have to keep stopping while I'm eating to then pick the shell off.
Presentation is pretty.
It's
but eating.
Yes, but eating. Right.
Right. Dana's like, don't get in the way of me and my eating.
Right.
Sometimes.
I know. You're like, why did you leave the shell out of eating now?
That is so pretty.
So
I just want to taste that.
Oh, it's
so
delicious. Good. It is a delicious sauce.
Get out the side.
So I added a little bit of pesto to our shrimp, and we're just going to mix that in.
Oh my God.
It smells good.
Oh, that's so good.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I did I wonder, like, if you use pepitas, the sun-dried pumpkin seeds, because I like those.
You can literally use almost any kind of nut to make pesto.
Wow.
Almost any kind.
Except, look, except for, he's going to say, except pepitas.
But I made walnut pesto. I made, like you say, pumpkin seed pesto, pine nut pesto. You know, so it basically just really depends on your.
Just mix it up. Yeah, just mix it up. Like, that's awesome.
All right. So, as you can see, we got our shrimp nice and pesto. I would normally do this beforehand. Let it sit for about an hour or so, almost as a marinade to really get those flavors incorporated.
So one question, Darnetta said, you really saying any kind? And then second question, Christina Bell said, did I miss the mojitos?
Just you missed the mojitos.
And she was saying any kind of nut. I don't know if she was being facetious with that.
Like I say, almost any kind.
It all depends on what your palate is asking.
Right.
She said if you have a tree nut allergy, what kind of nut could I use?
That's something you would have to research. I know.
Because peanuts are a root nut.
Yeah.
So I think you'd be okay with the sunflower seeds and the pumpkin seeds, but I'm not sure. I don't want to give any false information, and then
Just use what kind of nuts you eat as a guide.
Yeah.
Just use that as a, because you said you use walnuts before, right?
Yeah.
So
So whichever nuts you're not allergic to, that's the one to use.
Yeah.
Ariel is really broadening her horizons with pasta and with sauces. She said also she's never had sriracha. Don't judge me.
Oh, sriracha is an amazing. I love sriracha more than I do hot sauce, just because the flavor is a little bit more intense. It coats whatever you're cooking a little bit more. It has a richer flavor, smokier flavor than most hot sauces. It's my go-to.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely try that.
I always think about hot sauces being not necessarily played. So the sriracha always gives me something new because I don't eat it all the time. You know, it's like when you have it, it's like, oh, it's something new, spicy. Right. Instead of we've been eating hot sauce for years. Yeah, and you're just kind of expecting what it's supposed to be.
All right, 2 more nut questions. Tracy said, how many ounces of nut to basil? And then Darnetta said, what about peanut or almond?
Once again, I'm not exact. You can use both peanuts and almonds to make pesto, but I'm not sure as far as with the nut allergy if either one of those things would trigger that allergy. So once again, I would say do a nice little lookup. Make sure that whatever nut that you're not allergic to is the one that you're using.
And then Tracy was just want to know the basil to nut ratio you did.
So the basil to nut ratio was basically a half a cup of nuts to a cup of basil, and like I said, I was using basil and pickles. So as you can see, to the pan, I added some olive oil and about a tablespoon and a half of real butter. And we're just going to let that get up to temp a little bit. Hopefully everyone's having a great week. You know, this has been a interesting year so far. Better than the last couple, but we coming out of the trenches. But a lot of people are still going through some things. So you know, hopefully everyone is keeping a positive attitude out there. Hopefully everybody is going into the year with a positive mindset. We're past the first quarter of the year, so time is moving fast.
I think it's talking about thinking about the past couple of years with the pandemic and everything. I found myself noticing how much I'm growing or how much I'm supposed to grow. But my complacency is just to sit here and wait for it to be over. But I feel this pull to do something.
Well,
you feel that?
So what I've been saying during this whole pandemic time is this time brought out the hustler in people.
Yes.
It's like if you can't figure out a way to either better yourself, figure out another stream of income, you know, figure out something as far as health, then you're kind of almost wasting this time that we've had where time is slowed down a little bit for us. As far as for me, I absolutely get what you feel. It's like every day I want to put myself in a position to where if something like this were to happen again and the world were to shut down, I know that I'm covered financially. And then also, I look at it like you have to be able to figure out your lane. Like if you can't figure it out right now, with the world kind of slowed down a little bit, then once it gets back to its normal pace, you're going to be behind schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So now that we got our oil and butter nice and hot, we're just going to go ahead and evenly proportion our shrimp.
I'm making this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Your buddy Kev said, make that money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Christina said she didn't even know the difference between real butter and margarine until she started baking.
It's definitely
she
different.
found out quickly, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up on margarine, country crock,
Blue bonnet.
blue bonnet, but it wasn't until I got older and had real butter. And the funny thing, I grew up on margarine for so long. The first time I had real butter, I didn't like it. It's a lot of things like that we get used to the cheaper version of it, so that when we actually have it for real, it tastes funny to us until we realize that that's how it's supposed to taste.
I had a guy friend of mine years ago went on a date with somebody, and he ended up staying at her house, and she cooked him breakfast, and all he talked about was she made pancakes with real butter. He just kept talking about the real butter.
Yeah.
It's so funny because he's like, it makes such a difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Ooh, look at that.
Yes, we got our. So once again, with shrimp, as always said, you don't want to overcook it. Just kind of want to get it in there. Like I said, even so that they're all touching the heat.
So is this kind of like with the shrimp, is it kind of like tempering the shrimp? Like just getting the temperature in there enough and then like what are you looking for in the shrimp?
Shrimp cooks really, really fast.
Yes.
So what you're wanting is to cook it to the point where it's no longer translucent and it's just starting to curl up. When you get it to where it's almost look like a little tight fist, that means it's overcooked. It's going to be chewy. It's not going to melt in your mouth. You want it just at a point to where it's no longer translucent.
Okay.
Usually about 2 to 3 minutes is the most you want to cook it, especially if you're going to be adding it back into any kind of pasta or sauce.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hello, Diamond. Thank you for joining us.
As you can see, we are already at the point of being done. All of the shrimp has started to curl up. It is no longer translucent.
And then you're gonna add the pasta, that'll get some more heat in it. And then it'll go ahead and continue to cook a little more, but not overcook.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull out the shrimp. It's still gonna continue to cook. It's called carryover cooking. The outside temperature of the shrimp is still really hot, so it's gonna continue to cook into the shrimp, which is another reason why you don't want to overcook it in the pan. So what got you wanting to write? Like I say, to have 7 books already published, what got you into that?
So let me tell you, something happened to me. So I spent several years in a toxic, yucky relationship. And we all have. That was still and someone told me, I think it was my mom, said, if you want something from a man, tell me. So I'll go ahead and tell us about your squash.
So I'm gonna add. So now I'm just adding some squash and zucchini to the pan that still has our pesto. So we're just gonna go ahead, get that in there like so. All right. And give it a quick toss, and we're just gonna let that cook. Now, go ahead.
So I found myself in this space of wanting something, and never really just asked what I wanted because I was always a person to do what somebody else wanted. What do you want? And so I actually was snowed in at the airport in Atlanta. I flew to Atlanta for business, and I got snowed in, and I had to get a hotel there. And I went into my contacts. I found this guy that I met years ago at this event, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing? What's up?" And he was like, I'm chilling. Like, where are you? Because he always called me the one. That's a different story. And I was like, well, I'm snowed in. I was wondering if he wanted to come give me a bath. So he came, and he gave me a bath. The most erotic experience. Like, it was amazing. And that was it. He left. Well, I got up the next morning thinking how powerful I felt. Like, I said what I wanted. Somebody did it. And I started writing about it. Years later, I started reading that story to my faceless love. And he didn't know that it was me. I'm just reading him different things.
For you guys that don't know, she refers to her man as faceless love because we've never seen him.
You've seen him.
I have, but they haven't.
Yeah, so she basically doesn't post him on social media. She talks about him very regularly, which I think is brilliant.
Right.
We live together.
Right.
So we were like on a first date, and I was reading to him different things because we were driving a long distance. So as I was reading that story, he stopped and he was like, "Did you write that?" And I was like, "Let me finish." And so after I finished, I said, "Okay, that's all I got." And he was like, "If you wrote that, you're brilliant and you're my favorite author."
Wow.
Right? And I was like, "Well, how'd you know it was me?" He said, "Because you said when you saw him, your mouth started to water." And I was like, "Okay, it's me." I said, "It's me," right? You know, so and I started writing because of him. I wanted to finish the story because it would be pleasing to him. And once I started writing more and more, he was just like, "You keep writing, I'll figure out the publishing piece. You do you. These are amazing." And that's how I started writing. He's just really that inspirational.
Now, if you missed that piece,
That's awesome.
her now man was so impressed by her stories about her previous situations
Yeah.
that he pushed her to continue to write and continue these stories. That shows a level of security that most human beings don't even possess. Second of all, that shows that that person actually cares about what's important to you.
And he saw me as my own entity.
Right.
He saw me, you know, and that's why I write.
That's a grown relationship.
That is an extremely grown, beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
relationship.
And so somebody asked him at a reading I did, and they were asking him, like, "Are you her man?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "And you just listen to this, it don't bother you?" And he said, "It ain't got nothing to do with me."
Right. That's beautiful.
That's
He's
your
like,
art and your
he
experience.
said, I'm post the BS. I'm after the BS.
Yes.
And it's like, dude, he's a bigger pimp than me. Like, I'm the one with the cool lines, you know. But yeah, so that's how I started writing.
Darnetta said he saw the light in you.
Yeah, he did. And it's funny, is it Darnetta?
Yes.
Darnetta, it's funny because I call him my light. He illuminates my path. So if I have an idea and I want to talk about it, he's on board from the jump. Let's talk about it. There's no back.
So next, what I have here is about a half a cup of the water that I cooked the Ouzo in. It's full of starch. It's going to help deglaze the pan as well as.
That's awesome.
Yep. Go ahead and get all of that delicious stuff off the bottom. Next, we are going to actually add our Ouzo. As you can see, this is what the Ouzo looks like. As I said, it looks somewhat like a grain, like rice.
Mm-hmm. Look how light it is, though. You can tell it's light.
Beautiful.
Let's go.
Right. So we are now going to just get that nice and mixed. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
This is a beautiful dish happening.
So what's your inspiration in cooking? Because you don't cook. Like, this is your art. Like, I cook because I have to. But it's what you love. So what?
Yes, he's a whole chef.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So what is it that? Are you always motivated in it, or like what is it?
The one thing I learned about cooking is it is a universal language. I don't care if you're Chinese, Asian, everyone eats. Everyone feels good when they're eating good food. It brings people together in a way that words can't, the way politics can't, religion can't. It is its own space. And just think about anything that you do that's important, it's almost always centered around food. So
That's true.
this is, like I say, my art form.
I love it.
I guess you would call it my love language.
Yeah. And what is it they say that if you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life?
Exactly. So next, we're just going to go ahead and pour in some more of that there pesto. We're going to go ahead and mix that in. Oh, yeah.
Hello, Ashley Davenport, Yolanda Madison. Thank you, girls, for watching.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
This is so
And
great.
that pasta is going to absorb all of that delicious flavor.
Sure. This looks so good even without the shrimp.
Right.
Like,
right.
this is like a great vegan meal.
Yeah. Right now, this is without the Parmesan cheese. This
Yes.
is a perfect vegan meal, and you can make the pesto without Parmesan if you choose.
What's funny is right before you said cooking was your love language, Darnetta just asked that. Chef, is cooking your love language?
I guess that's the best term I can think of for it. It's my passion to a degree, but more than it's my passion, it is the way I communicate. Like I could be having a bad day, and I can cook, and you can feel like that meal might be a little fiery, it might be a little spicy, but you understand that that's where I'm at that moment. And then once I get it out on the plate, I feel better. Sriracha.
In the same aspect, it's your zone out too. I've known you to be not in a good mood that day or whatever, and nobody ever knows it. Your cooking comes out like you're in the best mood ever.
Yeah.
While you're doing it, you're in the best mood ever. Like,
I love that.
So now we're gonna add our shrimp back. We're just gonna mix that in.
hello, cousin Marvin.
So I'm having this thought while I'm watching you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'm thinking, would you be interested in doing like a cooking with Chef Dunn cookbook?
That is actually on my to-do list.
Okay.
Right now I just got so many things that I'm doing. It's like eventually I know that is going to be the lane that I'm going to. I just haven't gotten there.
I'm thinking you should do it for seasons based on what you do on your show, because your viewers want those recipes.
I do.
So,
I definitely.
Things you've already done, put them together, and it'd be like Cook Volume 1.
And that is definitely something that's been on my mind.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
So next, I'm just gonna quickly chop up some sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh,
Who
look
knew
at
that
that.
was coming?
Who knew? I'm looking at it like, what is it?
This not only adds an amazing flavor, but also a beautiful color to this dish. You can also add red peppers, mushrooms, whatever you like. So we're just gonna go ahead and sprinkle those in there like so.
Ariel said, yes, manifest that cooking book.
Yes.
Voila.
I love that you made this. I was speaking with one of my colleagues today, and she was telling me she's vegan. We're doing an end of the year party, and I was like, oh, I got to make something for her. This is what I'm going to do without the shrimp,
Yeah.
without the mozzarella, right? So I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm making. Oh, is it Parmesan, not mozzarella? Parmesan.
All right. So last thing we are going to do.
Hope it's after we make another drink.
Gonna add just a little bit of olive oil drizzle on top, and just a little bit of fresh lemon juice.
Do you have a preference for the drizzle? Is it extra virgin or virgin, or do you have a preference for that?
It depends on the dish.
Okay.
Like extra virgin tends to be a little bit lighter.
Because you would use on like salad and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So a more robust one I would put with this, just because the pesto itself is going to add such a strong flavor. You want the olive oil to kind of stand out a little bit.
Okay.
So I use a little bit more of a robust olive oil.
Okay.
Diamond says she wished she was here. That looks so good.
I'm gonna let you know. I got you.
So we are pretty much done. So in the meantime, if Ms. Jocelyn, you can go ahead and give them their trivia question while I plate up.
Oh, I was too into this. Let me think of something. I'm thinking. This is my thinking phase. Okay. So I have two prizes. So I can have two questions or just first and second place?
First and second.
Okay. When I was speaking earlier, there were two things I said was a passion. Just give me one of those things. Out of all the things I said I do, just give me one of those things. And I have two of my first book, The Virtues of Joy, emotionally erotic short stories that talk about a woman who's free and trying to find her pleasure. So that's my first book. And that's it.
That book is awesome.
It's awesome. Yes. Oh, you know what? Let me grab a copy so I can talk about the cover.
Yes, please
Yes,
do.
do it. Yeah, I listened to it on audio because she did the voice part herself. It was just
Yep, I recorded it myself.
so sultry and heated. I was on the road listening to it.
Were you?
Yes.
So here's the cover. And I don't know if you can see it. Well, you should be able to see it. But anyway, the cover is a painting of me from the back. So you can see like my hair across the top, my shoulders, and then you come down to the bottom and you see my
I
bottom.
never saw that.
Yeah. So this is
That's
me
nice.
from the back. Yeah.
It is awesome.
So the artist was a friend of mine, and she's great. She's done 4 of my covers. And yeah. So it's just really sexy stories. They're fun stories. It's not any he ain't this, and it's nobody's mad. It's all about a woman trying to find her pleasure. I am pleasure. That's how I live my life. As pleasure.
It is very erotic, very sensual, but also very.
It's tasteful too, right?
Tasteful.
It ain't trash.
Yeah,
It
not at all.
is. It really is.
It is an amazing book and especially from a woman's perspective. A lot of times society makes women have to downplay their sexuality, and for a man to be able to read a woman's innermost sensual thoughts and in a tasteful way, it was very eye-opening as well as erotic.
A lot of freedom in it. Just finding yourself.
Right.
So anyway, I have 2 copies. I'll autograph them to the winners.
Beautiful.
All right.
We got some answers in.
This looks so good.
So, in order to win the contest, you have to be the first one to get the answer right. Now, mind you, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So you might think you're the first one, and someone else might have chimed in before you.
Yeah, we gotta check timestamps.
Second of all, once we notify you, you have to then go on your page and say, "I won the Sip and Cook Challenge." Tag myself, Swana Miller. Would you like to tell them where they can find you as well?
Yes, if you don't win and you want a copy, autographed copy, you can get it from me. Joycelyn Wells on all my social, JoyCelyn Wells. And my website is joycelynwells.com. Just a lot of great information there. I'm all for people being free. I'm leading people to freedom. So these stories are so good, and it makes us okay. Now, this may not be your issue. I love sex. I love making love. That was my issue, and I was always looking for my partner in that space. And it wasn't. It was just for me. So once I owned it and started looking for the pleasure for me, it got a lot easier.
Can y'all tell she's one of my soul sisters in this world?
And there we have it.
Yes.
Beautiful Ouzo shrimp pesto pasta. Like I say, this can be served hot. You can throw it in the refrigerator, eat it as a cold salad, leave it out room temperature, have it as a room temperature salad. Either way you go, you can't go wrong with this particular salad. So now is the moment of truth.
Yes. Oh, me?
Yes, and me. Us
Yes,
together.
let's do it. Ooh, look, us together.
Us
See,
together.
look, let me take a drink.
Right. Ooh, y'all, I don't know what
I'm
to
not
do
going
about
to
her.
argue that one.
I don't know what to do about it. All right, let's see. I want a little bit.
I want everything too. I want to taste everything.
Ouzo, some dried tomato.
All right, you ready?
Yes. Oh my God.
Good stuff.
There's
This
so many
is so
flavors
good.
exploding in my mouth.
I know. It's a great diet. Planning for
I
this.
love this woman so much. You try it.
Let me give
It's
you
so
a
good.
nice little.
I didn't even get any tomatoes. We got too much tomato. It's so good. Oh my God. I'm making this a faceless love. I don't know if he's watching or not, but I've been cooking. He's inspired me to cook. I don't even cook.
That's amazing.
He really has inspired me to cook.
I love Ouzo.
Isn't it so good? And I thought it was the rice.
I did too.
Super light,
But it's got that
absorbs
little
the
nice
flavor.
thick texture of pasta. I love it.
Yeah. Super easy dish to make, as you can see. The pesto is super easy to make. If you have an herb garden, this is a great way to use up that basil, the garlic, all of those.
Ariel said, "Can y'all just mail me a Tupperware container full, please?"
Where
Oh,
you
that's
live? Where do you
great,
live,
great,
Ariel?
great. She lives in Fort Valley, Georgia.
Oh, I can't help you. Look, if you were on the northwest side, I might have you. I might have dropped you off something. Fort Valley, can't help you.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, we really appreciate you tuning in. Once again, we'll be doing this between 1 and 2 times a month. Be on the lookout for the times and dates. If you're not following Divine Vision Catering on Instagram or Facebook, please do. That way you can find out exactly when we are doing this. If you are a YouTube subscriber, if you watch things on YouTube, please follow Divine Visions Catering. All of these videos, as well as other videos, also are placed on there. If you would like to be a sponsor, please like to be a sponsor. We take donations, however much you would like. $40 helps to really put the show on and keep it moving. If you would like to be a guest, if you're in the Atlanta area, you can pay $25 and be one of our studio audiences. After the show, we drink, fellowship, eat. Great time to be had. Other than that, be on the lookout for some of the other things Divine Visions Catering has coming up. I have some really big, exciting news coming up very soon. Don't want to let the cat out the bag too soon, but it's going to be some really cool, nice stuff.
We want to know. We want to know. Tell us.
Keep watching, and I'll definitely tell y'all soon. Other than that, hey, y'all rock out the rest of this week. We're about to start a new month. Crush those goals and keep sipping and cooking with me.
Yes. Goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Look at my glass. It's so empty. You're over here.
Oh,
This is so
She said
good.
it's so empty. That sounds so sad.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my God.